Hey, Buff Nation, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson here. Coming up this week in Buffalo Stampede, talking men's basketball. The Buffs drop a couple of close wins to a couple of top 20 teams in UCLA and USC. We'll talk with point guard KJ Simpson and my broadcast partner and Buffs great Scott Wilkie. The women's basketball team made a swing through the Arizona schools. We'll recap. And the athletic director, Rick George, joins us talking NIL all this week on the Buffalo Stampede. Buffs defense just blew that one. He's picked up in Colorado, swinging in another direction. Touchdown! Got the pylon. Touchdown! Bends off the defense with their body. Elevate and slam with the right hand. Attaboy Lolo. It's a winner for the Buffs.
Ball is right in front. A couple of shot fakes to Steve Perry.
To contact, no foul. Outlet pass Simpson up the right side. Clipper on his way. Elevates and slams with the right hand. That one is going to leave a mark. That one is going to be felt for generations into that young defender's family. Holy cow! Well, that's one for the highlight reel right there. Nate Clifford throwing it down, posterizing a defender as the Buffaloes will end up falling number 16 USC at the event center. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Buffalo Stampede. Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson here. KJ Simpson, point guard for the Buffaloes, joining us. Colorado dropping 2 games against the top-level opponents. Let's go back to that USC game. Thoughts on that one? I know that you guys were very unhappy the way you played in that contest, weren't you?
Yes, very much. I mean, but it's crazy, like, how close we lose these games, and we play so poor. Like, we had about 16 turnovers, 16. I believe, and then we gave up 18 rebounds. They just out-rebounded us a lot. It was all Chevelle's good one, honestly, but it's just stuff like that we just need to focus on, and then we'll come out with the outcome that we want.
KJ, there's a learning process in there for you guys to play. And when you play teams like in Arizona, USC, Tennessee, UCLA, the intensity and the energy they play with all the time, you guys are learning how to play that, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, especially having, going to Arizona and then playing Arizona, ASU, coming here and then playing USC, UCLA, like back-to-back, all that. That's something that we want, and that's a challenge for us. But we want that challenge. We want that expectation. And, it sucks we didn't get the outcome, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot we can learn from that'll help us down the road.
The rebounding against USC, that was a little bit of a head-scratcher for me because generally Colorado, you know this being in this program, Tad Boyle's built this program on rebounding and defense. That was a head-scratcher for me against the Trojans.
That was, honestly, it was just lack of effort on us. That should never be something that we give up. Defensive rebound, that's all 5 of us. So from 1 to the 5, that's a team effort right there.
So the Buffaloes end up dropping the game to number 16 USC on a Thursday night here at the event center. And afterward, we heard from head coach Tad Boyle. Does wide right of the lane, taken by Evan. He's got Morgan on him. Pulls out 15-foot jumper. Something good by Evan Valley. Nice.
This loss is on me. I'll take the blame. Down the stretch there, we did not execute. Number one, we didn't execute offensively pretty much all night long. Made a few shots there in the second half to get the crowd into it, but I thought our offense had made more strides than that. But we were playing against a good USC, defensive team tonight. And we played really impatiently, and you turn the ball over 16 times. You don't get a shot there at the end when you need to get a good shot. That's on the coach. They made plays, we didn't, and for that I got to look inwardly first rather than blaming. But there's some really, really telling stats tonight. 16 turnovers on offense is one of them. Getting out rebounded by 15 is the other one. And then getting outscored 38-12 in the paint when our defensive game plan was to keep the ball out of the paint as best we could. And, look, USC's long and they're big and they're athletic and they've got good players. I don't know how we are in the game, quite frankly. And that's a testament to our guys' competitiveness and grit, but it wasn't enough to overcome the ineptitude offensively. And
there's comments from head coach Tad Boyle after the Buffaloes fall to number 16 USC. Then on Saturday night, the Buffs take on number 9 UCLA. Down 15 at the half, 17 early in the second half, make it a 1-point game, end up falling by 6. Slow start for you guys in that ball game again.
Yeah, you can't have a slow start against a team like that. They will capitalize off that for sure. And so that's frustrating, and we kind of dug ourselves a hole, which was really tough to come back from. But it just shows our character as a team.
Yeah, I think so. I always like to say it's easy to come back. It's hard to come back and win, isn't it? I mean, you exert so much energy digging out of the deep hole like that.
I mean, yeah, we were just decided to just play. I think we were just trying to make the home run plays too soon.
Yeah.
And we just, talked in the locker room at halftime, just said, just play. We made a couple of plays, chopped the wood, possession by possession, crowd got into it. So
you talk about growing up, and you watch this guy, you can see him growing play by play. You played outstanding against UCLA.
Thank you.
You kind of relish games like this and playing against a guy the caliber of Tiger Campbell?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's only going to make me better, going up against guys like that, especially as a freshman. This is something I wanted. That's why I came here, to go up against these guys, get that competition.
The crossover he had right down behind us at one point, there were broken ankles out there. It was pretty impressive. As you look at your game, playing at this level, and you evaluate yourself, where's the one spot you say, KJ, I got to get better here?
For sure, defense, especially with Eli being out.
Right.
That's something that we really, really, really miss. And for me, I feel like that's a role I have to take upon and get better at for sure. Defense.
Now the Buffaloes are going to go on a long road trip because of a makeup game on Tuesday night at Oregon. It's a 3-game road trip. Leave on a Monday, play on Tuesday at Oregon, Thursday at Washington, Sunday at Washington State. There are no nights off in this league, as you well know. It's going to be a challenge for you guys.
Yeah, for sure. And that's something that we want as a team.
Pack some extra socks, will you?
Yeah.
KJ Simpson and the Buffaloes end up falling to UCLA at the events that are coming up next. We're going to talk to my broadcast partner, Scott Wilkie, here in the Stampede.
Up top, Lovering, high-low entry pass, caught by Jabari, elevates and slams inside! Jabari with the jam! And the Buffs are within 3.
Here's some highlights from the Colorado Buffaloes' 6-point loss to number 9 UCLA here at the event center back in the Stampede. Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson, my broadcast partner. See you great. Scott Wilkie joining us here for a few minutes. That game against UCLA illustrated once again, though, that this young team's got to understand playing consistently right from the get-go with high energy, didn't it?
Yeah, they kind of got overwhelmed by UCLA's defense early in the ball game, created a lot of turnovers, weren't as aggressive and intense maybe as they needed to be. They picked up as the game went on.
It's interesting. You watch, we talked about this in the radio broadcast of Colorado Basketball Network about veteran players, Johnny Juzang, Jaime Jaquez, Tiger Campbell. There's a confidence they have that, our guys are learning and are going to figure out as they play more games. When you got a team like UCLA that's gone to the Final Four, you could see those guys in key situations, didn't panic, made big plays, pull out a win.
Colorado was making a big run. They were picking up their energy level, playing really good defense. But those guys made the plays when they had to. They made the shots. They didn't get rattled. They made the free throws. Give them credit down the stretch. They made they did what they had to do.
Turnovers, though, the big problem. 21 in the ballgame at 14 at the half. In fact, the Buffaloes were down 18-0 in points off turnovers at the intermission. This young squad has got to start learning about ball fakes and pass fakes to help them with that issue.
We saw a similar thing happen down in Arizona in Tucson.
Right.
Arizona is another team that comes up and really gets on you, presses you out, and it makes you go backdoor. And they got to use pass fakes. Make those defensive guys react, get them out of position, then make your play.
Yeah, Colorado in this ball game had too many, over the top and long athletes are going to make plays and deflect the basketball and create problems. This team's got to learn that issue. But when we talked to Tad in the post game on the radio, I think he came out of this thinking, okay, we lost, never any lessons learned there. But this team is learning and growing, I guess is what.
Yeah, and he said the game going home Thursday night, you could tell there was something not good in his gut.
Yeah.
He didn't feel good about that game. Tonight he felt better. They played so much better in the second half and really fought, which is half the battle part of the time, Mark.
Yeah, without question. Well, the Buffs get beat by number 16 USC and number 9 UCLA. After the Bruins game, this is what head coach Tad Boyle had to say.
Crosses over, drives his way in the paint, kick out deep in the right corner. Evan Batty for three, fires right between the eyes.
What a disappointing loss. We shot ourselves in the foot, for a second game in a row with our turnovers. I didn't think it'd get worse than 16, and here we are tonight at 21. But I got to tip my cap to our guys. They battled back in that second half. This team's got fight. It's got resilience. It's got heart. We just have to understand the little things, and every possession means something. We haven't figured that out yet because you got to understand it's a 40-minute game. We talked about it beforehand, coming out on the court, but it's almost like their pressure surprised us. We knew that they were going to come out and blow up handoffs and get into us a little bit and get in passing lanes. So we can't be surprised when that happens. But to battle back from 15 down and claw your way back and get it to a one-point game, we just couldn't get over the hump. There's a lot of things we didn't do well, but there are times in athletics, and this may be one of my, I do think down the stretch, where you have to tip your cap to your opponents.
That's head coach Tad Boyle after the Buffalo's 6-point loss to number 9 UCLA. We continue with Scott Wilkie here for a couple of minutes. Jabari Walker, speaking of growth, we were talking about the team growing up before we heard from Tad. Jabari Walker showed some growth, I thought, tonight.
Yeah, as a big man, I like it when he gets down on the block because he is such a load down there. He's so strong, so aggressive, and when he posts up that way, he's a different player. He drew a lot of fouls tonight, and he finished strong around the basket.
I always get asked about the 7-footer. Well, everyone's, the curiosity of having a big guy. Lawson Lovering, when you watch him, he's a talented kid, moves very well for being 7'1". Tell me what you see with him.
Well, tonight we saw some good things. It's been a while since we've seen some good things. He's been in a slump, not just shooting slump, but things just haven't gone his way for several ball games. But tonight, with energy level and some fight physically, he showed some promise tonight.
But what are the issues? Talk about specifically what he's dealing with in terms of when he gets the ball and why he's had problems.
Yeah, he's had a lot of times where he's not finishing, Mark. A guard will penetrate and drop it off to him, and he's taking too long. He's winding up, trying to think. He's gathering. Yeah. And by then, at this level, your advantage is gone. They're too fast. They recover too quickly. So he's got to get it up quicker. We saw him do that tonight. Yep. He finished around the rim like that. And you've got to be stronger. Just hold your ground. He's getting shoved around a little bit because of the size he's playing against. But just fighting more like he did tonight is a difference.
Yeah, there's that great line. They always say the best thing about freshmen is they become sophomores. They grow up, get bigger and stronger. All right, big road trip coming up for Colorado. At Oregon, at Washington State. 3 games over the course of 6 days. It's going to be an interesting stretch.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for him, and you just got to take one at a time. But there's a chance here to get a couple wins, and you just got to take one at a time and focus on the second half tonight. Energy level and fight.
Yeah, this is the second time they try to make up that Ducks game on Tuesday night. That's an 8 o'clock ball game. And, of course, Oregon's coming off a sweep at the L.A. Schools. The Buffaloes get swept at home by the L.A. Schools. That's Scott Wilkie coming up next here at the Buffalo Stampede. We're going to talk CU women's basketball.
Away. Feet out, got a piece of it. Now Jay's got the basketball at the timeline. Kick to Frida, 3 on the way. Yeah! Not enough time to shoot, though. Still working on the dribble down the lane. Lays it up and in. Nice little hesitation. Got Levings off balance. Hugh kicks it to the corner there. Kind of tipped it to herself. Now goes inside hard. Up off the glass. Went right at Besselink. Weta kicks out to Jones. She got all the way down to the lane. Now Jones down the lane, up and under with the reverse. Good move by Tay.
Now there's some highlights from the CU women's basketball game in Tempe, Arizona against the Sun Devils. And for the second game in a row, the Buffaloes lost a heartbreaker in overtime. The 22nd rated Buffaloes suffered their second consecutive overtime loss on Friday. The Buffs took Arizona State to the extra frame, but fell short 57-52. Junior Quay Miller led Colorado with 12 points and 8 rebounds. Junior Jalen Sherrod scored 11 on the night, going 5 of 8 from the foul line, and sophomore Frida Foreman rounded out the Buffs scoring with 10 points. The loss is CU's third in a row after starting the season 13-0. Colorado dropping to 2-3 in Pac-12 conference play. Afterward, we heard from head coach J.R. Payne.
Yeah, definitely offensive rebounding. And then, it's like we were just talking to the team about these are one-possession games, against teams that have had a week and a half to prepare for you and you alone. And we're a really good team, but we're also playing against really good teams. It's one free throw. It's one box out. It's one possession that, someone didn't know what we were in. as far as offensive execution, things like that. I'm disappointed. Our team's really disappointed, but we also know that we're a really good basketball team, and we're one possession away from being right there on the road and all of that. I just think, that's what they do. They are really good on the glass. We knew that going in, and I think, we really prioritized it in our preparation, and I think our team knew that. But in the end, yeah, I mean, that's what they do. They've always been that, and we gave up some really costly offensive rebounds. Yeah, I don't know that there's anything that makes it more or less frustrating. I think we're all just extremely competitive and want to win, not just every game, but every possession. And so we are frustrated, but, we just had a good talk in the locker room about really leaning into each other. How well our team is adapting and being able to, bounce back to the next scenario.
Well, there's head coach J.R. Payne after the Buffaloes' overtime loss in Stampede to the Arizona State Sun Devils. Now, 2 days later, the Buffaloes traveled to Tucson, down south, to take on the top 10 Arizona Wildcats.
On the Sunday here on Pac-12 Network for the first time, a shot clock situation rectified by Foreman, the sophomore from Denmark, coming off an all Pac-12 shot.
The Buffs' second game in Arizona, not nearly as close as the first, as the Buffaloes fell to 10th-rated Arizona, 75-56 at the McHale Center. Tobias Sadler and Maya Hollingshed each had 11 points to lead the Buffaloes. Hollingshed also led in rebounding with 10, securing her 21st career double-double. But for the Buffaloes, it was their fourth consecutive loss after their 13-0 start. And afterward, we heard from head coach J.R. Payne.
I thought we were the aggressor early, and they were the aggressor for the second portion of the game, and whoever was most aggressive was the one that was winning at that time. Unfortunately, we didn't match or maintain, that level of aggressiveness and confident play for the entire 40 minutes. Yeah, I just think we needed more timeouts. Like, we just needed to be able to, settle ourselves down. In the first half, we only turned the ball over twice against their press, which isn't that big of a deal, but I thought that still disrupted our timing and flow even once we got into the front court, where we had been playing with great execution and great flow. I think that was disruptive. You call timeouts, you try to settle them down, you call another timeout, try to, regroup, make sure we execute something well, but in the end, yes, it snowballed, and it was quick. Like, our turnovers were costly. They weren't dead ball turnovers. They were live ball turnovers under the basket, things like that.
Head coach J.R. Payne after the Buffaloes lost to number 10 Arizona down in Tucson. Now the Buffs have kind of that strange week in Pac-12 play where they play their travel partner on Friday night. Colorado plays at Utah at 7 o'clock, and then the return game at home in Boulder at noon on Sunday. Coming up next in the Buffalo Stampede, it's the new world of college athletics, name, image, and likeness. We're going to get an update from our athletic director, Rick George. Back in the Buffalo Stampede, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson, here at the CU Event Center. Athletic Director Rick George joining us here for a few minutes. Big announcement this week at the University of Colorado with the NIL exchange. A lot to kind of unpack with this whole deal, but I know the Buffs with the brand is something you've been working on for our student athletes for quite some time, and this is a new addition. Kind of bring us up to date with this.
Yeah, it's a new addition, and look, we went through the process. We looked at a lot of different companies. We felt like Influencer was the right thing for us to create an exchange for our student athletes so they could directly connect with those that want to talk to them about their name, image, and likeness. I think it's great for us. It's going to be great for our student athletes, and we're excited about what it'll mean for our student athletes to capitalize on their name, image, and likeness.
So there are two sides to this. From a student athlete standpoint, what's their role? How do they do it? What do they do? Just get themselves kind of registered?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing is we've got companies registering, right? And within 24 hours, we already had 21 companies register, which is a lot. And so we're excited about that. And then the student athletes will register, and then they'll be able to communicate directly through this exchange. And there's a lot of other elements to it, but one of the great elements to it is when they have a business transaction, they also have an area that will focus on the tax implications on that as well.
All right. So there's guidance from the kind of post-endorsement, if you will.
Correct. Yeah, there's a lot of that, and we're doing a lot of the education internally for both businesses and for student athletes. and by February 3rd, they'll be able to directly connect, and we're pretty excited about that.
So one thing that we're doing here at CU then is encouraging business owners throughout Buff Nation to get involved.
Well, and charities as well, because I mean, these are great ambassadors, our men and women that compete for CU athletics, and so they can endorse their charities, send tweets out, do those kind of things, and we're excited about where this is going.
It's kind of the new world of college athletics. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. But Bill Walton, we all know Bill Walton. He's one of the favorites around the Pac-12, of course, the Conference of Champions, as he said. Last time he was on campus, he went out and played lacrosse with the Buff lacrosse team.
What are we doing here today?
We're playing lacrosse, and
We're
we brought you a little bill
Buffaloes.
stick.
It's
Your
a
own
bill
stick.
stick? How do you know it's a bill stick?
Because that's your name on it.
Bill Walton, 32-5. And here we are, high in the Rockies. Okay, now what do we do with this?
All right, so we are going to teach you a little bit about lacrosse.
I've never
it's like
done
a baseball.
this.
Throwing
Watch
a
it
baseball, it's the
don't
same.
catch it like this, right?
Hey!
Okay.
Yes. There you go.
Maybe we should start a little closer in, huh? It's right there, it's like, wham, like that. Okay, now is there a goalie?
Yeah, so Molly is our goalie.
Terrible. Are you allowed to hit the opponent?
It's like
A little bit.
And then that's your protection.
Protection. Oh.
Now we're playing.
I'm not sure if I'm quite ready for this. This is. Oh, the shot here, the behind the back
The
shot.
assist.
Okay.
Yes! How does it feel to be a lax though?
Okay, somebody go out long.
Here. When you're like cradling it, you just gotta like move your arm.
Oh yeah, okay, I got that.
So I'll come in, little flip. Oh!
It's always the passer's fault.
You just throw it straight up. Oh! When you score, you got to do a little celebration. So you can like slam it.
Really?
You can do like the little side toss.
But what if I expect to score? And
Then
what
you
if
do
I?
the- then you
what
score
if
and
it's
then you
no
just
big
go.
deal? It's like
Yeah. And we put the ball like this.
no way.
So when the whistle tweets, we have to go up with the ball. And then
I think
yeah,
we-
so that's how the game starts.
That's our
No, you thought
ball.
we were gonna take it.
I am playing D. She's behind. You can do that?
Yeah.
What
Here
kind
you
of
go.
rule is that?
Watch out!
No way. This is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Oh, with the no look! The assist from Charlie Rudy. The shot! Goal by Bill Walton!
Yeah.
Buffs on 2, 1, 2.
Buffaloes, yeah.
Bill Walton on the lacrosse pitch. How about that? Never thought we'd see that. He was a great basketball player. I'm not sure he's ever going to make it.
I'm just glad he was able to get that stick that low
that?
to be able to scoop the ball. I mean, he did some really good stuff.
Pretty good celebration after he scored the goal as well. Hey, this NIL thing, help people understand, because right now it seems we've got this imbalance across the country. Where's this all going from a national perspective?
Well, in my opinion, it's not going in the right direction.
Right.
And when you use inducements or you tamper to talk to student athletes, that's not something we're ever going to do.
Yeah.
And there's some of that going on. Now, there's some legitimate NIL deals and there's some illegitimate. And then people, when student athletes are going in the portal to try to find the best deal, that means there's got to be some kind of inducement going on there. I'm concerned about that.
From a program standpoint, as we get into the second semester right now, and I know that there's a lot of conversation about football and Carl's making staff moves and portal and all those kind of things. What's your vision of things right now?
Well, right now I feel really good about our football team. This coaching staff is the best coaching staff we've had since I've been at CU. I'm excited about them as recruiters, coaches, and people, and I think our future is extremely bright.
By the way, he needs to work on his jump shot. Just missed one. Took a nice assist.
I did take one, yeah. I missed it.
He's the athletic director, Rick George. Check out the NIL exchange. You can find all the information on our website, of course. And to put a wrap this week on the Buffalo Stampede, I'm voice of the boss, Mark Johnson. We'll talk to you next time.